What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for February 14th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Happy Valentine's Day out there to all that celebrate. And yes, I get that it might be a made-up Hallmark holiday, but it doesn't take much to be nice to your wife, your girlfriend, your daughter, whoever. Go buy some flowers, some candy, whatever. I always make sure my wife and daughter have flowers when they get home from school and work. But yeah, I get it. It's made up. It's no better than Flag Day. I think we should call the Flag Day Society of America and really make a push for Flag Day. But go buy some flowers. Do something nice. Won't kill you. But anyway, as always, let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. And in honor of the 30th anniversary of John Chaney threatening to kill John Calipari, I asked, what is the best college sports rivalry? And much as I expected, I did not get much of... Everybody had their opinion. Lots of Michigan, Ohio State. Obviously, I'm partial to that being a Michigan fan. Tons of Auburn, Alabama. We had a lot of Duke, UNC. Had some people that said Miami, Florida State, Miami, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Florida. A lot of those SEC rivalries. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. I think a lot is going to be dependent upon where you live, who you like to follow. But figured we'd have some fun with that because, honestly, there was a point in time when Temple-UMass was one of the top rivalries in the nation. And for various reasons, over the course of the years, it's not anymore. But there, like I said, there was a point in time in the probably early to mid 90s where Temple-UMass was must-see TV, and the fact that Calipari and Chaney went after Calipari definitely played into that. So that was what led to yesterday's question of the day. But again, I don't think there's any wrong answer. You can go anywhere you want. And again, it's going to be dependent upon your allegiance, what conference you like. If you're a Big Ten person, you might say, I don't know, Indiana, Illinois might be a good rivalry, or Northwestern, Wisconsin, whoever. But thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. 267-495-8531 get you in on the voice and text line. Lots of people leaving text, but don't be afraid. Leave a voicemail. Go on a rant. It's therapeutic, man. Just do it. All right. Let's get on the 100 subscribers for YouTube. Go to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and hit the subscribe button. I'm telling you, once we get there, that opens up more avenues. And again, I know you're out there listening. Just hit the subscribe button. It's also still not too late to buy your Girl Scout cookies from Ella. She has met her goal, but anything over the goal helps the other girls out on their camping trip. So go click the link in the description wherever you're watching or listening to this and hook Ella up with some Girl Scout cookies. And I'm telling you, some of you, if you're like our house, you're probably on your third or fourth round and batch. So you're going to buy more. Might as well buy them from Ella. Help everyone out. Good day to do it, too, because it's the first official pitchers and catchers workout for the Phillies. Celebrate by having some Girl Scout cookies. So there are high expectations for this team, and I'll get more into the preview as we get closer to the start of the season and we see how the things start falling into place. If you remember last year, Reese got hurt right. I think it was actually the day I recorded the Phillies preview. So it's definitely something I'm going to wait on, but let's see how it goes. But man, expectations are high for this team, and rightfully so. And I mentioned it a lot on here. The fact that you have Harper starting the season healthy with a position. The fact that all of these guys know where they're going. Trey's not coming off the World Baseball Classic. He's already adjusted to Philly. I think to me, it's fair to think that they're going to get off to a good start because once all of those things started to fall into place last year, they were one of the best teams, if not, I forget the exact, they might have been second best record in the league from like June on, behind the Braves, actually, I think. So to have all of that at the start of the season, I think is going to make a world of a difference. But again, It's always a big day on the calendar when pitchers and catchers report. Football is officially behind us. We're looking forward to the offseason. Hockey is ramping up with the All-Star break coming up, and the NBA is going into the All-Star break. But it's just a fun time to be a sports fan. So we'll have more on the Phillies as we go. Still rumblings and rumors out there that there might be another move or two before the whole squad reports. So we'll keep an eye on that. And I want to say, if you're a baseball fan like I am, you're going to love this. I actually went and saw the exhibit, met with the curator, Brian Michael, last night at Camden County Community College in Cherry Hill. It's actually super easy to get to, right over the bridge. They have an amazing legacy of Negro League in Philadelphia, in the Philadelphia area, including South Jersey. It's called A League Apart. You can go check it out on aleagueapart.org. And it's just really, it's really well done. And the focus is sort of on the timeline of Negro Leagues and the impact that some of these trailblazers have had. So check that out. I'm going to be doing more with them in the future. Lining up, I want to sit down and talk with him, and I'll have that, which might be a good time to sort of, right now, kind of give you a glimpse into where my head is at. We'll do some housekeeping before we get into the rest of the episode. If you might have noticed, since the first of the year started, there has not been a Back to the Future. And that has been done purposely. And you probably have also noticed over the past few months, this podcast has been getting longer and kind of more in depth with some of the things we've been doing. And again, that's all been done purposely. And I'm not necessarily phasing out Back to the Future, but I'm keeping the platform there for more special occasions, things to do, interviews on. The Phillies preview likely will be on there. I'm working on doing a draft special that I've been working on for a couple years, and the timing just hasn't worked out, but kind of like a draft preview conversation with things. And I have some things lined up for Women's History Month again. So I want to save Back to the Future for more specialized things like interviews, special events, and things like that. So it's not going away, but it's not going to be what it was, because a lot of the aspects of Back to the Future has come into this day in Philly sports history. So that's sort of where my thinking is. All of that to say, I have an interview scheduled and lined up. I'm looking forward to sitting down with Brian, going over sort of what the thought process is, going over this exhibit and sharing that with you guys, because it was very well done. And if you are, like I said, if you are a baseball fan, and this ties in with our Black History Month spotlight, there's just such a rich history of just the Negro Leagues in this area, not only in Philly, the suburbs, South Jersey. There's just, like, I learned so much last night just kind of walking through and talking with him, and really didn't get a chance to like dive in. There's some interaction stuff that I would like to do, but they've done a wonderful job. So check them out. A League Apart, the legacy of Negro Leagues in Philadelphia. We'll have more on that as the months progress. But if you go to that website, you'll be able to find out everything you have. Looking forward to sitting down with him next week and really taking a dive into this display and this exhibit. You may have seen the one they had down on Cherry Street last summer. Was great as well, but this is taking it to like the next level, and they're really doing a lot of good things with just getting the word out there more so than anything. And I talk to you guys about this all the time. Just yesterday with Judy Johnson, it was one of those are my favorite days when we have things that and players and events and things that you didn't even know happen. Likely didn't know happen, I should say, because I didn't. And I mean, it's learning, it's fun. But check them out, aleagueapart.org, the legacy of the Negro Leagues in Philadelphia. And looking forward to sitting down with Brian next week. And that's part of what my ultimate goals are with the podcast. I've been kind of teasing some of these things and figure I wasn't planning on doing it today, but I feel like it just was a perfect time to just announce it, that it's not, Back to the Future is not being phased out. It's more, like I said, I'm going to leave it for, like, the platform is there, and it's just going to be more for special events and things like that. That way, the interviews and the other things I want to do will still remain separate from this day in Philly sports history. And along those same lines, we have the voice and text line. I've had a ton of people ask me about live shows. I'm kind of working on that. It's a lot to handle with just one person. I don't have a Baba Booey to help me out here, which is why you got to subscribe to the YouTube channel and buy shirts from Philly Goat and all that other good stuff. But I'm working on it, and I'm hoping to play around with some things this summer when my schedule opens up from my day job. But thank you, as always, for all your support. Spread the word. Tell somebody about this, and let's grow this. Because I'm finding as we're growing and I'm interacting and networking with more and more people, there's a ton of like-minded people in this area who love stuff like this. So spread the word. And if you're entertained by this and you're enjoying it, likely somebody else in your network will too. So go ahead and do that. But I'm looking forward to what the future holds. And again, Back to the Future is not going away. It's just sort of going into like a semi-retirement where we're going to bust it out for some good things. But again, look forward to, or be on the lookout for more information about the interview with Brian. And again, I know I keep saying this, but the best way to stay in the loop is subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as soon as everything gets posted, you'll be the first to know. All right. Sixers are in action tonight against the Heat, their final game before the All-Star break. Kyle Lowry officially signed, but he will not play tonight. He'll join the team after the All-Star break. He's still getting conditioning and back into game shape. But I really want to see how they come out after that big win in Cleveland and whether or not they're going to be able to sustain what they had. And I'm loving the fact that they have I think their next game, looking at the calendar, I believe it's next Wednesday. So it's either Tuesday or Wednesday. So they have almost an entire week off to rest up, get healthy. We're closing in on that 1 month mark for Joe where he can get checked on his name. So just get through tonight's game, but I want to see them show that same level of effort. But things, hopefully, we're going to knock on wood here, are looking good for the Sixers heading into the All-Star break. Hopefully they come out, make some moves, and we get some good news from the Joel Embiid front. There is an Eagles story. I know I said the season's over, but apparently we talked yesterday about Haason Reddick requesting a trade. He came out and said, I did not request a trade. I don't want to leave Philly. He's like, I want to have an extension here, but I understand it's a business. So not sure if the Eagles leaked that, if there was like a miss. And we've talked a lot about the media sort of taking things and twisting and running with it. I don't know if that's a case of this as well. I don't know. He wants to stay. Was it the Eagles saying, see if you can get a trade if you want to? I'm not really sure what happened there. And Reddick is a very interesting player. He is under contract for one more year. So the way the NFL is set up now, guys don't really hold out anymore. So worst case, the Eagles have possibly disgruntled. And I use that word lightly because it doesn't seem like he's disgruntled. I mean, he has every right to be having to drop back in pass coverage so much last year, but that's a whole other issue for another time. But who knows what's going to happen? And they have some other guys they need to sign. Next year is going to be, I think, the biggest cap hit for Jalen. So I don't know. I don't think they announced what the cap's going to be yet. And they also have Josh Sweat, who probably is going to be looking to get paid as well. So it'd be interesting to see how he's going to have to work his magic and do what he does. But the big story is Haason Reddick does not want to be traded. And again, I don't know if this is the media making something up or what, but here we are. And I mean, I looked at Hasan's quote and I don't know. It really something is not right there. So I don't know if the Eagles are leaking it, whether his agent, I think that either way, he says he doesn't want to go. So my question to you for today's question of the day, what should the Eagles do with Haason? Should they, and I mean, I guess you have three choices. You either trade him, let him play out the rest of the deal, or extend him. And I think because where he was, I mean, the past 2 years, 2 years since he's been with the Eagles, he's like top 3 in sacks. I think behind like T.J. Watt. He's top 3 in total sacks, and that's with all of the ridiculous dropping back into pass coverage last year. So I mean, I think you need to. I would try to re-sign him, but let me know what you think. 267-495-8531. Leave a voicemail. Send a text message. Should the Eagles just let it play out? Should they trade him, or should they extend his contract? Let me know. 267-495-8531, as well as my social media, Twitter and TikTok at Jimbo_Mont. Instagram at Philly Jimbo. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you can leave a comment there. Text me, send smoke signals, whatever you got to do. Let me know, what should the Eagles do with Haason Reddick? I know what you should do. It is pitchers and catchers first workout today. I've been talking to you about it. Go to phillygoat.com. Get your Phillies gear. And I mean, I've been talking about the Believe shirt. That's not all they have. I've talked last season about the Philly Fanatic with the Major League Baseball shirt. They have High Hope shirt. You've seen my Ring the Bell shirt. And then now they have the shoes to match. They have the Fans, which are the green Philly Fanatic canvas loafers, as well as the Schmitties, which are the powder blues. Matches, you can just, there's so many different matching up. I feel like the one Wu-Tang skit, man. And then you put the Scream in the blue. But you got to go to Philly Goat, match up your outfit, whatever you got to do. They have you covered in time for Philly season. And while you're there, check out the Union gear. The Union are getting ready to kick off their season in a couple weeks as well. Actually, less than a week, or less than 2 weeks. It's they have a friendly tonight, actually. So go to phillygoat.com, get geared up for the Sixers and Flyers playoff run, the kickoff of the Union, pitchers and catchers, whatever you got, they have you covered at Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. Stock up for Philly seasons. I know it snowed yesterday, but before you know it, it is going to be warm and sunny. You're going to be going to the beach. You got to have that first spring day. There's nothing worse than not having anything to wear. So take care of that now. Go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. All right, today we're going to go back to 1966. And on February 14th, 1966, the Sixers beat the Pistons 149-123 down in Charleston, West Virginia. And Hal Greer had 28 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Billy Cunningham, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. But you know who we're going to talk about. And I really believe that I could do a This Day in Wilt Chamberlain history and have enough content for 2 to 3 years. Probably actually more than that. And on this day, in that win, Wilt Chamberlain, again, you could choose any game you want. But for this one, this was more of a ho-hum game for him, so to speak. He had 41 points, 23 rebounds, and 13 assists. Okay, he had a triple-double. He had lots of triple-double. This is probably not a top 10, 15, or even top 20 game in his career. Probably wasn't even his best game of that 65-66 season. However, he had 40 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists. That has only happened 12 times in NBA history. Elgin Baylor, Oscar Robertson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, DeMarcus Cousins, Jokic, and Luka Doncic, and Wilt Chamberlain. All of those other guys, one time. Wilt Chamberlain has done it 6 times. So there, I mean, again, this is kind of just like, okay, Wilt being Wilt. But 40, 20, 10 games in NBA history has only happened 12 times. Wilt has 6 of them. Baylor, Robertson, Kareem, Cousins, Jokic, and Doncic have the other 6, 1 each. So that just goes to show you how dominant this guy was as a player. That something that's only happened 12 times and he's done it 6 times is not registering. Like, you don't really hear about that. You hear about the quadruple double, or the the double triple double we talked about. That sounds like something you should get from Wendy's. This is just a 40-20-10 game. It's happened 12 times. Oh, Wilt did it 6 times. So again, just goes to show, and I know Uncle Randy, if you're out there listening, I know how much you feel about and love Wilt. There's your Wilt stat of the day. And again, I feel like I could do this day in Wilt Chamberlain history. But this 65-66 season was Wilt's first full season with the Sixers. The Sixers did win the Eastern Division Championship. They lost the division finals to Boston. But we do know the following year they would win the championship behind Wilt. And it's also hard to believe Wilt was only with the Sixers for 4 seasons. So on this day back in 1966, Sixers beat the Pistons 149-123. Wilt with a 40-20-10 game. One of only 12 times it's happened in NBA history, but Wilt himself has 6 of them. So you tell me who is the... And I think when we talk about the GOAT of the NBA, I think you have Michael, Kobe, and LeBron, like that debate. But then you have Wilt up here. I mean, I don't think anybody touches Wilt. And I think it's just Wilt and then who's the second GOAT. But that's what I feel. And let me know what you think. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating Wilt. Maybe he was just a tall guy playing in the wrong time. Maybe he wouldn't dominate the way he did. But either way, on this day back in 1966, he dominated the Pistons. All right, finally, our Philly Sports Black History Spotlight of the day. Michael Brooks, who was a small forward and West Catholic grad, played at LaSalle from 1976 to 1980. When he graduated LaSalle, he was their all-time leading scorer. He is now second behind Lionel Simmons. He was their second all-time, and still is their second all-time leading rebounder behind Tom Gola. Led the Explorers to the tournament in 1978 and 1980. He was a consensus All-American and the College Player of the Year in 1980. He was a Big Five MVP in 1978 and 80. He was a 3-time East Coast Conference Player of the Year. He is the 38th all-time leading scorer in NCAA history, which usually I wouldn't put a stat like that in, but think about all the guys that have played NCAA basketball, and only 37 have scored more points than Michael Brooks. So he is another one of these guys that you probably never heard of, but just was a dominant player. He was the number 9 overall pick in 1980 by the San Diego Clippers. Played 6 NBA seasons, played 8 seasons in France where he won 2 championships and was 2-time foreign MVP. Won the CBA MVP in 1988. Won a gold medal at the 1979 Pan Am Games for the American team. His number 32 is retired by the Explorers. He's in the LaSalle Hall of Fame, the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, even did some coaching overseas in Switzerland. But just one of everybody knows about Tom Gola and Lionel Simmons, but you can't have a conversation about the greatest players in LaSalle basketball history without including Michael Brooks. He is today's Philly Sports Black History Spotlight, small forward from LaSalle, West Catholic grad, just one of the best not only to do it in the city, and he often, like I said, gets overshadowed by a lot of the other great players that actually played for LaSalle, but also in the Big Five. But for my money, Michael Brooks is up there as one of the best to ever do it. And he is today's Philly Sports Black History Spotlight. All right, on this day, back in 1966, Wilt had just another Wilt game, scoring 41, 23, and 13 boards, 23 boards. I'll get it out. 13 boards. All right, let's start this over. 41 points, 23 rebounds, 13 assists in the Sixers' 149-123 win over the Pistons. Again, just another Wilt game, but he did something that only 6 others have ever done in NBA history. Be sure to go to Philly Goat. Get yourself stocked up for Union, Philly, whatever you need. Let me know your thoughts on the question of the day. Should the Eagles re-sign Haason Reddick, trade him, or just let the contract play out? 267-495-8531 gets you in. Leave a voicemail or send a text message or hit me up on the social media. Sixers end their unofficial first half of the season tonight against the Heat, looking to go out on a 2-game winning streak heading into the All-Star break. Pitchers and Catchers Day, one of my favorite days of the year. I had to wear the Phillies shirt just because I'm that hyped up. Spring is around the corner, and that is a good thing. Buy your Girl Scout cookies from Ella. Everything you need is in the description in the link. Be sure to check out aleagueapart.org and check out the whole display and set up for the legacy of the Negro Leagues in Philly. And it's a big legacy, so they've done a great job over there. That is aleagueapart.org. We'll have more information on that once I sit down with Brian. Again, Back to the Future is not going anywhere. It's just sort of more of a standalone thing now. And a lot of the same content you had for Back to the Future will be in this day in Philly sports history. You probably didn't even notice a change, which is what I was hoping for. Go buy some flowers. Do something nice for your sweetheart. Yes, I know it's a Hallmark holiday, but just suck it up. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Wednesday. And until next time, I will see you when I see you.